I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Culpy and Chip.
And Muggsy.
Mugs, guys.
Mugsies.
Sori secret mug. You can make it whatever color you want. And a Middle America one. Same thing. It's on Teespring.
True.
Check us out. Link is in the description.
We are doing an entire week dedicated to that wondrous period in metal between 1997 2005-ish.
New metal.
In which we had new metal, which was characterized by a maximum 3 riffs a song.
Short
Most of the time it was 2.
Oh, this is a long one. This one's 4 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, this is actually long for new metal.
Yeah.
Short songs and more emphasis on the emotion of the singer than the vocal range of the singer. And look, I'm not saying this to make fun of new metal, because I came into metal through new metal was my gateway drug into metal.
Did you think your new metal was metal?
Yes. Yes, I was like, hey, I'm a metalhead, and it is metal. It's called new metal.
Yeah.
There's black metal, there's classical metal, there's new metal, there's, black and, there's death metal. So it's a genre of metal. Mm-hmm. But what I will say was that the old heads that were listening to metal before us really didn't accept us as being metalheads because we listened to new metal.
Oh, I can totally...
Now I understand why. I think they were stupid, but now I understand why they were the way that they were. Mm-hmm. Right, because it's something so different from the standard, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Megadeth, and the other bands. I get it. I just think it's just stupid metal elitism bullshit. Mm-hmm. If I was an old head and it's like when I hear people talk about rap today. It's like, I don't like mumble rap. I think mumble rap is stupid, but I wouldn't say that a person who likes mumble rap now is not a hip hop head. Mm-hmm. It's just a genre of rap that's gonna die in 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. But they're still hip hop heads. But at the time, but there's a lot of rap fans now that are like, oh, these are not hip hop heads, blah blah blah, because they're listening to mumble rap. Well, it's a genre of rap. You can't say it's not a genre of rap. So, it was new metal, and I'm grateful to the old heads, particularly Iron Maiden, and we were able to catch an Iron Maiden riff in a Papa Roach song.
Right.
So that was cool.
Yep.
So I never really understood it, like I never understood why people were the way that they were, but
It makes sense to me.
Now I get it, Now I get it, especially after being introduced to the concept of metal elitism.
Yeah.
We don't really have that in hip hop. Like what you'll have, hip hop is more regional than genre based. So like hip hop is more like East Coast. Like so I'm from the East Coast. So East Coast was more about lyrics. Like you had to have lyrics and you had to have punchlines, and we had Biggie and Nas and Rakim, and those are all like super intellectual brothers that are extremely intelligent. Whereas the West Coast wasn't really about lyrical, it was more about the lifestyle. Yeah. So West Coast, it was about like how authentic of a gangster you were. It wasn't really about like lyrical intricacy.
Oh, okay.
So rap is more regional, whereas metal
what if you didn't live in one of those regions? Like you lived in Maine and you were totally into it. Is that like...
Well, that's why most Mainers don't really understand rap. You see what I'm saying? Like I heard somebody say that like 50 Cent was way better than The Game lyrically.
Oh, okay.
Like there's no hip hop head that would say that. Like what are you talking about? Like what are you talking about? Because Game is a West Coast rapper that raps like an East Coast rapper. Mm-hmm. Because he's a very lyrical West Coast rapper. He's like one of the best West Coast rappers there are. But, it's Maine. He doesn't know anything about rap. He just knows that 50 was more popular than Game. But no hip-hop head would ever say that that 50 lyrically can touch the Game lyric. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, anyway. All right. So, Hed P.E. Let's do it.
What's the name of the song?
The name of the song is called Wake Up. This was for...
Guess not.
It's funny because we had a I forgot the guy's name, but I was thinking about him, and he brought up Hed P.E. and I was like, yo, we were just talking about, the big homie. Remember this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about him, and then he sent me an email, and he was like, hey, you know, I like Hed P.E, they're a band. I was like, no shit, dude, we're doing New Metal Week. I'm going to do a song. Tell me what song you want. And
he picked this one?
It was this song.
Oh, okay.
So
you're going to send him we'll make it unlisted.
Yeah, we'll make it unlisted, send it to him.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Go.
Never die.
Fuck you. You see me, I see through you. You say fuck me, I say fuck you. You don't love me, I don't love you. I rise above and I say fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. You see me, I see through you. You say fuck me, I say fuck you. You don't love me, I don't love you. I rise above and I say fuck you, bitch.
I don't know how I find the power to face these fucking cowards. All I really wanna do is disembowel on every hour. Go home, smoke a joint, and beat off in the shower. Then dispose of all the evidence and pop a couple downers. You know me, then you know I really have no friends. Get high a lot, I drink and drive a lot. The innocent, they die a lot. Now don't be fooled when you see me smile a lot. Cause I go punk rock, blow up your whole block. Nigga, wake up, motherfucker, wake up. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker, wake up. You're not punk rock, bitch, you're just a punk. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Get high, motherfucker, high. We ride, motherfucker, or motherfucking die.
Meet me in the parking lot, pussy.
Semper Fi, put 'em up, I'm ready for a fight. These First Amendment rights are guaranteed to me regardless if I say shit you don't like. So every night I grab that mic, I spit shit just for spite. If I can push some buttons, what the fuck should I recite? Poems are meant to shed some light on all these hypocrites and sodomites. Body out inside a ride in this twilight zone tonight. Cause I don't give a fuck. Now shut the fuck up, or I'll go straight punk, blow your whole block up. Wake up, nigga, wake up, motherfucker, wake up. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker, wake up. You're not punk rock, bitch, you're just a punk. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Get high, motherfucker, high. We ride, motherfucker, all motherfucking die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Get high, motherfucker, high. We ride, motherfucker, all motherfucking die.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why is life as cold as hell? And why can't I control myself? Why am I so insecure? I don't even know myself. I'm so fucking immature. I tried to grow hydro myself. If I had the power, I'd bring back the Twin Towers myself. Then I'd gather up all the Al-Qaeda cowards. Now you're all burning hell. Now you get what you deserve. Now you know not to fuck with my brother Nick Bird. Now shut the fuck up, or I'll go straight punk and blow your whole block. Wake up, nigga. Wake up, motherfucker, wake up. I don't give a fuck, motherfucker, wake up. You're not punk rock, bitch, you're just a punk. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Get high, motherfucker, high. We ride, motherfucker, all motherfucking die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. Get high, motherfucker, high. We ride, motherfucker, all motherfucking die. Jesus fucking Christ. Why is life as cold as hell? You see me, I see through you. You say fuck me, I say fuck you. Why am I so insecure? So insecure. I rise above and I say fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. You see me, I see through you. You say fuck me, I say fuck you. You don't love me, I don't love you. I rise above and I say fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch.
Never die. Always living. Always living. Always living.
Oh boy. That
I've never heard this song before.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh my.
There was one song
That
from
was
this.
surprising.
There's one song from this band that I really enjoyed. It was called Straight Up. There was this guy named Lynn Straight from this band Snot, and he died.
Yeah.
And so I guess they had all the music already done.
Yeah.
So they made a record called Straight Up, Lynn Straight.
Yeah.
And they had everybody.
Oh.
Korn, Slipknot, these guys.
Really?
I'm pretty sure even the Deftones. So everybody was doing the vocals for.
Wow.
So they had the stuff written, and they were good songs.
Really?
Yeah, and there was a song called Straight Up that Hed P.E. This band was really, 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 really good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that album is a really, really cool album, the Straight Up record, because I can't. There isn't one bad song on that record, and everybody was in a lot of pain because he
Yeah.
he died. Like
Yeah.
Jonathan wrote a song.
Well, that's really cool that people got around this thing like that.
Yeah, Jonathan wrote a song to God and everything. It was pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the record. It's called Take It Back, I think was the one Jonathan did. And then Corey's song was the best, but this one was my second favorite song. But that's not so. Anyway, yeah, and it was different because it was more like rap and stuff. Like this is like this dude like literally he can rap, but he's black. So
Yeah.
sorry, like this is the best rapper we've seen in New Metal Week so far. I just have his name, and it's funny too because his name is Jared, and if you switch the R and the H, it becomes Jarhead, which is what you call a Marine. A Marine is a Jarhead.
Oh.
And if you look here, he says it. He says Semper Fi, which is always faithful, which is a Marine Corps. That's their slogan is Semper Fi.
Right.
So I'm assuming that this guy was a former Marine because his name is Jared, and it's really Jarhead. See what I'm saying? But really interesting stuff. Okay, what do you think the song is about? The name of the album is called Only in America.
I don't know. I
Me
forget.
in the
Let me
parking
just
lot,
say
pussy.
what I got out of this thing. So, first of all, I was very shocked by all the language. Like, how much language was in there?
You seemed shocked.
I couldn't believe how much they fit in there. And
Like,
then,
why was that shocking to you? Like,
when
we've
has
heard-
there ever been another song that had that much cursing in it?
What do you mean? We've heard a lot of
Ooh, what?
Cursing.
Name it.
Slipknot, fuck it all, fuck this world, fuck everything you stand for.
Okay, that's the chorus, right?
That's the chorus.
Yeah, this is like everything had it. This is the beginning. Scroll up, babe. Wow. So there's 2 words and then it starts cursing. Never die. Fuck you. You see me, I see through you. You say fuck me, I say fuck you.
I don't even
You
think
love me?
there's one word here, fucking cowards, but other than that, the whole rest of this verse here doesn't have a lot
And
of
they
cursing in it.
say nigga, they say motherfucker. There's so much in here. I was like, well, first of all, remember we had that person that said to us, like, you shouldn't say, we should honor our mothers and we shouldn't say that word. Ever since he said that,
Should say, oh, motherfucker.
yeah,
Oh,
ever since he said that, I was like, oh, I gotta throw in with him on that one. But
Okay.
anyway, it was hilarious how much it was in here. And I kept thinking, like, whoa, for the parents, that this was their kids listening to this, like, what are the parents thinking with all this cursing? You know what I mean? Like, if you go by your kid's room and they're listening to this. Yes, honey, you're not the typical parent that's okay with cursing. Like, most parents are like, there's cursing in it.
Well, I don't have a problem with die, motherfucker, die.
And then it said, it right here at the end, this? You put the F word in between Jesus Christ? Like, oh my gosh.
Why is life cold as hell? Yeah, no, I hear what
It
you're
was
saying.
just a lot.
You look very shocked.
I was extremely shocked,
I mean,
but I was very highly entertained by the song, and it was like, I loved their energy that they were putting out when they were saying it.
Yeah, it's definitely a different type of energy for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't like the other in my opinion, this is not like the other new metal songs. Like, it's very, very different.
Well, but that's why I said that's the strength of new metal, was that you could experiment, and sometimes 1 out of 50,000 you would hit with something that's very, very different that you've never heard before.
Well,
whereas the classical metal doesn't really have that. Like, it's regular metal, like it's basically gonna follow. But sometimes with new metal, you would hear shit that you'd never hear ever. But of course, there's always that debate in the black community, is that, you know, black people are 12% of the environment that we're in, and so the majority of people that are going to be purchasing your music, whether it's hip hop or anything else, are going to be white people. So there's always this debate in the black community: are you going to use the N-word because now you're going to give white people permission to use that word, and it's not their word? See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, there was that whole thing. I forgot it was J. Cole, or I forgot who it was. I think it was Kendrick, where he brought he brought the white girl up on the stage, and then she was just going along with what the song said, and of course it had nigga in it, and, you know, he blitzed her on stage in front of all of those people and embarrassed her, you know, and it's kind of like, well, it's like,
that wasn't right.
I mean, and then everybody's like, yeah, you dummy, but it's like all of them are going home listening to J. Cole saying all that shit, so it's like, well, yeah, like, come on. Like, that's why I don't really care about
That girl up like that.
I don't care about words, whether it's motherfucker or nigga. I don't care about any of them, because the words only words only have meanings that you give to them, and they only have import that you give to them. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It does matter to a lot of people, because I've got a song that I still haven't released yet. By this time it might be released. And it doesn't contain that word, but it contains other words that I'm sure other people are going to be offended by, which is really interesting to me, because it's like, well, when there's a song that says nigga, 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 you're not offended, but all of a sudden this word's in there, and all of a sudden you're offending. Very curious. Right. You know, like, I'm almost going to put it out there as a social experiment, but, you know, I don't, you know, none of the words, it's like they're syllables. Like, at the end of the day, it's syllables that you make with your mouth. Like, who cares what anybody says? But people care. People, like, it's the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, now you're in a concert. You know what I'm saying? You got, you know, I don't know, 1,000 kids going, nigga, wake up! You know what I mean? Like, and that's supposed to be offensive, but die motherfucker. That's not offensive.
No, I listed them all off, babe.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about in this day and age, in 2019. Because this was written in 2004. I don't even think you could say that in 2019. See what I'm saying? So it's just weird to me, the stuff that gets emphasized. So, like, people, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people, oh my God, all these people say nigga, and that's going to be a problem, but die mother, you know, you're literally wishing death on somebody. That's you know, you can watch that without blinking, but anyway, very, very, very different song.
But it was fun, and then when they got into the part where, you know, what he would do with the Twin Towers, like, if he had the power, he'd bring them back, and then, like, when he was listing off all the stuff, I don't know, it was very...
Then I'd gather up all the Al-Qaeda cowards. Now, y'all burn in hell. You get what you deserve. Now you know not to fuck with my brother Nick Berg.
Who's that?
Nick Berg was a hostage that was executed on camera.
Okay.
So...
Yep.
You know. Anybody that's, you know, ever been in the military or the agency or whatever, you know, like, there's a real... You know, it's really interesting because I'm watching these documentaries of these kids in Chicago, and the way they talk about killing the people that kill their friends it's the exact same way. And they're like, well, aren't they going to come after you? I don't care. They're going to have to die for that shit. People have to die. So it's the exact same mentality, only it's state sanctioned. Revenge killing, which was basically what a lot of people were involved with. It's just state-sanctioned vengeance killing, and to us that's what it was about. But to the people pulling the strings, it was about other stuff. But to the people on the ground, it was about, you know, people are gonna have to die over this shit, like, and they're gonna have to, you know, and they didn't always die pretty either. You see shit like this, people go, okay. That's the other side of it, is that these people were doing this shit on camera. But the retaliation was always 100 times worse But it was never on camera. Like people, they had these embedded journalists and all that shit. And when it was actually like really time to do dirt, everybody knew how to lose those people. So,
What do you mean lose them?
well, you had embedded journalists, and the point of the embedded journalists was that these are journalists that are from the Washington Post and all these other places that are there to chronicle the war and make sure that we're, the one half of it was, oh, they're just chronicling war, but the other half of it was basically this is another layer of accountability.
Oh.
But when all these, and there are other videos too that,
So you don't mean kill them, you meant lose them as in, or is that what you meant?
No, lose them as in,
Yeah.
when it was time to do this type of shit.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah. They get left behind.
Well, yeah, you don't have those. You don't even have those types of clearances. They didn't have those types of clearances. You know what I mean? Like, so all you have to do is say, this is that or whatever, and then off you go. And there was a lot of get back for the shit that they did. There was a lot of get back for the shit that they did, which is why, the big name guys, like, you didn't really start seeing a lot of these videos come out until ISIS, because ISIS didn't care, but people cared. These groups like Al Qaeda, they cared. When retaliation happened and the way that it was done, they cared. So you didn't see a lot of that shit. Even Zarqawi, he's acting all hard rock and shit, acting all tough. Like, the way that he went out was pretty terrible. It's all open source now. Like, he was injured, and it's all open now. But he was injured, and he was on a stretcher, and dudes literally went up and suffocated him to death while he was on the stretcher. Like, made sure he died because like you always say, like, once he gets hit and there's no more combatants, then he becomes a patient.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
But they were like, nope.
Dudes were like, there was no way that dude was gonna get out of there alive. None. So that's that. So yeah, like there's a lot of really, 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 really hard feelings with those people. And like, people don't realize it, but Americans, like, nobody does vengeance like America, believe me. It's just, we're not gonna put that shit out on fucking TV and shit. But, and like I said, they cared. After Zarqawi, there wasn't a lot of this, because the difference between Al-Qaeda and ISIS was Al-Qaeda actually had a political agenda. ISIS had a theological agenda.
Yep.
It was theological, and so you can't threaten away a person's theological agenda.
Right.
Whereas Al-Qaeda, basically, they just wanted us to stop unilaterally supporting the Israelis. I mean, really, other than that, they'd have left us alone. They weren't trying to establish a global Khalifa. It was just all, that's where the conflict happened between ISIS and Al-Qaeda, because ISIS was actually an Al-Qaeda branch, and then they broke off. So that's why all the Al-Qaeda leaders were like,
why did they break off? Because it wasn't theological to them? They had other agendas?
Well, ISIS was like, we don't care if this is going to create blowback from the Americans. Al-Qaeda did. Al-Qaeda was like, yo, you can't be doing this. You guys are going way too brutal. Bin Laden rebuked al-Zarqawi and said he was too violent.
Oh wow, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then by the time we got to him, like, he didn't get replaced with any. There was nobody like him to get replaced. So he got what he got. But they're not all like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, they have different goals and aims and agendas. And ISIS's aim was to basically get the entire world pissed off at them because they had a theological belief that was gonna catalyze the end of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas Al-Qaeda's goals were relief for people in the Muslim world.
Why they did so much stuff.
Right. Al-Qaeda was trying to get relief for people in the Muslim world, and they were saying, yo, if you do this, you're gonna... Because in the world stage, especially if you look at, the whole Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the world is basically on the side of the Palestinians. As far as, this is terrible, look what's happening to these people. And so you know, in the communications, Bin Laden's basically saying you're taking away that type of leverage. Because people can't feel sorry for you if you're doing all this type of crazy shit on camera. It doesn't even matter if it's a U.S. soldier. It doesn't matter. You got a defenseless guy and you're doing all types of crazy shit to him on camera. Like, you're taking away our leverage as far as, you know, people feeling bad for us.
sure.
But
For sure.
But ISIS was like, who cares? We don't care about that shit. We're trying to initiate the Yom El Qiyamah. Who cares about it?
They needed everybody to be angry.
Exactly. See, that was the difference.
Right.
So after al-Zarqawi, you know, Al Qaeda, you know, they took a decidedly. I mean, they were working with us in Libya. Al Qaeda was working with us in Libya with what's her face, Mrs. We saw he died. Hillary Clinton. You see what I'm saying? But make no mistakes about it. People took that shit really, really personal. Really personal. To this day, people are still tight about that shit. And the shit that we did in response to that was inhuman shit. But it worked. Don't do that. When's the last time you saw a U.S. soldier in a fucking Al Qaeda video? So.
I mean, I don't see any of those videos, but I'm
Don't fuck
saying
with
it
me.
doesn't happen now.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're getting journalists and shit. But you know, see, what I'm saying is ISIS, if they could get their hands on us, sure. I mean, yeah. But you know, those Al Qaeda, they were a lot more pragmatic than they were. So. You know, it's 2004, so you're only 3 years away from 9/11. So dudes, you know, people were still
You're pretty tight about it.
Still on that USA shit. You
Yeah.
see, you see what I'm
I saw
saying?
that.
Like, and especially if you're you know, whatever. But yeah, man, like really, really crazy shit was happening. Like Geneva Convention level terrible shit was happening in that situation. Nobody felt bad for anybody because. Fuck them. Nope. So.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, kind of. I've never been in a situation, so.
It's just shit that you don't do. You know, it's like, you don't do that shit. You know, it's like when, you know, it's like Obama, you know, when the Iranians took over that Navy vessel and how those dudes crying and shit. It's like, come on, man. They weren't going to kill those people. Iran doesn't want any smoke with us. It happened a couple years ago. You remember this? When they took over the naval vessel and then they had the captain crying on camera and shit? Yeah.
What made him cry?
Because he was scared. Because obviously that guy didn't go to SEER school, so he doesn't know how to conduct himself with some sort of honor when he gets captured. But, like... Yeah, the Iranians caught him and you know, that was happening during the elections and shit. That's when Ted Cruz was saying we're gonna make sand glow and all this other stuff.
All right.
Because, you know, and you know, Obama basically Obama had a diplomatic solution to that situation, and everybody like was trying to like say, yo, we need to do something because people were embarrassed as Americans or whatever. But it's like those Iranians had no interest in killing those people on camera. Because everybody in that region knows what happened to people that did that. So they were not interested in that. But you know how Obama was. Obama was talking about, you know, like, oh, if Putin crosses this red line into Georgia, we're gonna, you know, whatever. And, you know. So the Iranians knew who to do that to.
Yep.
I guarantee. Look,
They wouldn't do that to Trump.
they wouldn't do that shit to Trump. They know. Because they had no interest in killing those people.
Yep.
But they don't want any smoke with Trump.
Yep. Can't blame them.
So, you know, obviously, I remember watching that like, man, I was more mad at the captain than I was at the Iranians.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Does he let himself?
Yeah. I'd have been like, dude.
Well, he didn't have the proper training, obviously.
Yeah. No, it does make a difference, though.
It's gum.
It does make a difference.
Oh, I bet.
You know, you go to SEER school and shit, you know, like, it definitely makes a difference. But they had this one clip where there was a girl there on the crew, and she was like stone faced. She was chilling.
Really?
But the freaking captain was crying his eyes. It was just terrible time for America. Terrible situation. What?
Terrible situation.
What do you mean?
There's the way you said it, like with a girl. The girl's keeping a straight face with the guys crying.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, I'm proud of the girl for keeping it real.
Oh yeah, so was I. So was I. I'm like, you should have made her the captain. Freaking guy. But yeah. But anyway. Semper Fi, put him up. I'm ready for a fight. These First Amendment rights are guaranteed regardless of the shit I say that you don't like. Well, that's see, like this is a guy who he's basically saying, I'm gonna say a bunch of offensive shit. You know, he talks about sodomites. Like you can't say any of this shit in 2019,
No.
bruh.
No.
You can't say none of this stuff in 2019, bruh. What in the world? You can't say none of this shit on TV, bro.
It's really terrible, but I really like this song.
Well, I mean,
It's getting a really high rating.
but it's kind of like the Trump effect. It's like everything has become so PC that when you get a guy who's legitimately saying terrible things, people overcorrect and embrace it because they're so tired of all their every little opinion getting shredded. And of course in 2004 that was Bush's America, so you were still allowed to say shit. When Obama showed up, like that was it. Like he was sending people to re-education camps and shit for not selling cakes and all that. So like there's a real, and that's the thing that gets me about my like hyper leftist friends who try to quell people's free speech, like these Antifa people. It's like you're engendering so much animus against your movement that now people aren't really able to really identify who actual dangerous bigoted people are. Now you can't identify them because you've made everybody who disagrees with Obama a racist. Everybody who disagrees with Ellen a homophobe. Everybody that so now we don't have the ability to know who's a real jerk and who's a genocidal maniac and who isn't.
It's true.
Because the left has gone so overboard with the hyperbole that now you get a guy like Trump who says, I'm just gonna say whatever I want. And it's real racist shit, but people are so tired of it.
Yep.
So now, he's saying, hey, I have a First Amendment right. I can say whatever I want. I can offend whoever I want. Like, leave it.
Yep.
And if we would have just, I don't believe that the Constitution is an inspired document like the Bible, but I do believe that we got a lot of
wisdom.
We got a ton right in the Constitution because these were people who are the sons of the people who fled Bloody Mary and all that, and so they were a lot closer to knowing what government tyranny can actually do. We are so far away from it that we don't realize government tyranny when we see it. So now you got a bunch of misguided leftist Antifa kids trying to limit other people's free expression, and they really believe they're doing the right thing.
Oh, I know. You can tell when you watch those videos. Like, they're going all out. I'm like, are you serious?
Well, they're going all out in certain areas. I mean, there's certain areas where they would never show their face, right?
Yeah.
I doubt very highly that they would say anything to me.
Probably.
No, I'm just...
You're probably right.
I don't think they'd say anything to me.
I think you're probably right.
But, like a Ben Webb... they would smack the shit out of Ben, but, like... But I think the whole point of the song is just to basically say, you're not punk rock, bitch. You're just a punk. Which is like, wasn't that the whole thing we did in Punk Week where it was like about, saying what you feel and if it offends people, it offends them. Too bad. Like, suck it up. It's America. Say whatever you want. But, I like the song. I like the song a lot. It's a good song. Rest in peace to the big homie Nick Berg. I think Nick Berg was... that's crazy that he got mentioned. That's actually... I'm really actually very happy about that because... Nicholas Evan Berg was an American freelance radio tower repairman who went to Iraq after the U.S. invasion. He was of the Jewish faith. Rest in peace to the big homie. See, look right there. There's a Zarqawi right there.
That's who
Son
killed
of
him?
a bitch. I'm pretty sure.
He has a brother and a sister. Oh.
Yeah, they chopped his head off on video, and I'm pretty sure that it was Zarqawi that did that shit. Yeah, it was Zarqawi. Zarqawi did that hit. So dudes were not gonna let him live, man. Like, And we're gonna let him live for that.
That's terrible.
shit. Yeah. And all that stuff was is open source now. But I know where to get the article. But they had an article where somebody that was there was talking about how that Delta operator came in and made sure that Zakawi didn't make it off that cot.
Oh, he's the guy. Oh, yeah. Well,
We already had enough intel. There was nothing useful that he was going to provide to anybody.
yeah.
So there's no way.
I know it's terrible, and I shouldn't say it, but I'm glad.
I don't think it's terrible. He got what he got. So that's that. All right. So shout out to the big homie, Nick Berg. Inshallah, he's with the Ain Sof, and inshallah, Mr. Zarkari went to his reward.
So 9.8 for me.
Yeah. I think this is the best new metal song we've heard so far. Mm-hmm. Because it was just so different.
Yeah.
It was so different. And I couldn't tell you one riff or anything from this song. But what he was saying was so offensive and terrible that you know. And I love how he said my brother Nick Berg.
Yes.
You know, like that's when we were really like Americans, like when you had that like you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to the big homie. I remember when that whole situation happened, man. Whew. I'm glad to be out of those times. Anyway, Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.
Why am I so insecure? So insecure.
I rise above and I say fuck you, bitch.
Fuck you.
You see me, I see through you. You say